I extend a warm welcome to each of you. Coming to the ground rules of the section, please put your mobile phones off or on silent mode. Please refrain from talking about sex, religion, and politics. Please mute yourself unless you come onto the stage. Most importantly, please turn on your cameras throughout the section to witness your beautiful smiles and faces. Now, let me tell the mission of Toastmasters Club. The mission of Toastmasters Club is to provide a mutual positive learning environment through which members develop their communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self confidence and personal growth. Without further ado, let me hand over the section to the presiding officer of Velu Toastmasters Club, TM Bharat. TM Bharat is a structural steel detailing engineer by profession in Bangalore. He participated in many contests and won many prizes. He is the second runner-up in division level international speech contest in the current year. Over to you, TM Bharat.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shavani, for setting up the stage for this amazing meeting. A very good morning, fellow Toastmasters and the beautiful guests and other Toastmasters from Daffodils and from members of Fellow Toastmasters Club. Well, I welcome you all to the 135th session of Fellow Toastmasters Club. Yes. So let me just start with this small question. So, how many of you wake up before 10 a.m. today? Can you just raise your hands? Wait. Yes. Well, I could see many we could see many people waking up early on a Sunday. Well, yeah. And the most biggest and the amazing thing about, other than that, is we are attending a session on a Sunday morning and making ourselves productive. So we can give a very big applause for ourselves for that. Right. Thank you. So first of all, we all join Toastmasters for some reasons, right? So, can you guys just unmute yourself and say, like, what are the reasons for you to join Toastmasters in one line?
To become a better communicator overall.
Great.
To become a good public speaker.
Okay. Yeah, Kiranjit, you can.
To speak confidently in front of people without so many people.
Great.
Become a good communicator.
Cool. Next.
To improve self confidence.
All right. Great. Yes. So we all join Toastmasters for different reasons. So in my experience, from the day I joined Toastmasters, even I had a vision kind of what we have to gain from Toastmasters. Over the years, what I found is like we all join for different reasons, but when we get into that, the Toastmasters platform will take you to a very beautiful place you never even imagined of. I just joined Toastmasters to become a better public speaker or something. But today I could feel myself that I have even improved my leadership skills as well. So that's something that we all go with the flow of life, but we will not even get exactly what we want, but sometimes we will get more than what we want. So that is what Toastmasters actually uh, helped me to realize it. So I hope that you also will feel the same in over the years of your journey. And yeah, so today's session is about is especially for the people who join Toastmasters. And there is an amazing thing called pathways in Toastmasters, and this will take our entire Toastmasters journey to a different level, because we all join for many reasons, and we will be focusing on a specific path that we want to particularly want to improve. and there will be many levels that we can work on that, and we will be gaining that particular competence skill. And yeah, so we are having this session especially for the new members, and even we are as an experienced members, we can learn a lot from this session. So first of all, thank you all for taking part and being energetic and getting into this session. So today we have an educational speaker who is a past club VP and a club president, now a member of Daffodil Toastmasters Club. And he is an area director of A4 D92 for the year 2022 to 2023. And he is also the division finalist at the ISC 2022. And he is a host of a podcast series, Speakers Cast, that is ongoing with 7 successful episodes published. And he is also an aspiring financial data scientist who loves to read and is a gaming addict. Well, without further ado, I would like to call our educational speaker for today's meeting, Akash Amrit, to the stage, please.
Thank you, Bharat, for that warm introduction. And it's very refreshing to be back on the online medium. I know offline meetings have started, but it's a bit refreshing to attend a meeting from the comfort of your own home. But yeah, a very good morning to everyone. It's so lovely to see. I would say most of you having your videos on. I would probably persuade everyone to switch on their videos as well so that I'm able to see everyone over here. But that that depends on you. But yep, a very good morning to everyone. I think it's great to see these many people for a Sunday morning meeting. I know it's a Sunday, so thank you all for joining. Before I get started, I just had a few questions to ask everyone just to get started and just for me to understand the baseline knowledge about pathways and about Toastmasters in general. So, with a show of hands, how many of you all have joined Toastmasters? Maybe say in the last 6 months or so. Maybe you can, use the raise hand button in Google Meet. Okay, it looks like it is a good number of you who have joined recently. Yeah. All right, got it. You all can lower your hands right now. All right, so I think this gives me an understanding of where we are with respect to pathways. Also, another quick question: how many of y'all are attending this meeting on your laptops right now? All right, so that's a good number of y'all. Okay, good. Because throughout the session, it's going to be beneficial if you all on the side log into Toastmasters and maybe follow the steps, look into Basecamp as much as I'm explaining. All right, so which is why the question is how many of y'all have joined using your laptops? All right, so without further ado, let us get started. I will just quickly present. Give me a second. All right. I hope everyone is able to see my screen. Maybe someone can just unmute and say yes.
Yes.
All right, perfect, cool. So this session is going to be all about pathways, and obviously there is a way to bring all of these things together. You've got pathways, you've got Basecamp. A lot of these terms might have been thrown around when you join Toastmasters. Maybe in the first couple of weeks, 3 weeks, you might have heard about selecting a path. You might have heard about pathways, the learning management system that Toastmasters International uses, and so on and so forth. So there is a way to bring this all together. And for a lot of members, it does tend to be a bit complicated to understand at first. So that's all right. But today we're just going to dive deep about everything to do with pathways. Today's session is going to do everything to do with pathways. And we're going to dive deep into pathways. We're going to dive deep into Basecamp, etc., etc. So this is essentially what we'll be covering in today's session. First of all, about pathways, obviously. We're going to talk about projects and level completions. Each of you all will be attempting projects depending on the path that you all select and how you're going to complete these projects, how you're going to complete levels in pathways. That is something that we will be diving deep into. Um, you'll have other resources on Basecamp as well. It's not just projects, but you'll also have resources on giving better speeches, giving better speech evaluations, etc., etc. So you've got other resources on Basecamp as well. And lastly, there's a small topic at the bottom right corner, leveraging Basecamp to its fullest. And there is a small exercise that I will have with you all towards the end. It's a pretty interesting and a pretty fun exercise. So I hope you all are excited for the session forward. So now most of you all might have joined Toastmasters. Some of you all might have gone to this website called toastmasters.org and would have gone through the material, and you would have seen a logo that looks something like this. Toastmasters Pathways Learning Experience. You might see this, thrown around everywhere. Um, this is essentially the learning system. This is essentially the education system that Toastmasters International uses. And a small pop quiz. Can anyone tell me how many paths are there in Pathways?
12.
Close, but not quite the answer that I was looking for. It's actually 11. There are 11 paths in Pathways. I won't be taking the name of each and every path because there are resources for that, and everything is there on the toastmasters.org website. So, this is the logo that you might have seen about Pathways, about the 11 different paths that you can select. Right. So let me just quickly move on. Before I move on to the website, I would like to give each and every one of y'all maybe a quick 2 minutes to log in to the toastmasters.org website so that y'all can do this in parallel with me, and it will be better in everyone's understanding as a whole. So I'll give it maybe a minute or two. For those of you all who have logged in, maybe you can use the raise hand button to raise your hands and let me know once you're done so that I know when to. Okay, we already see a number, good number. Thank you so much, Ahmed, Kaushik, Koshi. Um, I'll probably give it a bit more time. Okay, thank you so much, Chandresh. All right. Some of you might have been doing. Yeah, some of you all might have logged in. Others are probably in progress. But once you log in, this is the screen that you should see. Where can we take you today? And you will see other details as well, which are probably not as important. But uh, yeah, so this is the kind of screen that you will see. And if you can just scroll down, you will see something called My Education and Achievements, and you can see a button, Go to Basecamp. You'll just have to click on this, and you will see the club that you are a part of, and you just have to click on your club and you will go to Basecamp. All right, now that's not really something that I want to cover yet. There is something that's a lot more important before Basecamp, obviously. Before you select a path, there is no Basecamp. So let us first move on to selecting a path and knowing what each and every one of those paths are. So let me just click on the back button, and I will just go to this place called Learning Hub, which places all the education resources in one place. Right now, each of you all might see something called Choose Your Path. You will see a button, Go to Basecamp as well. Let's just leave that alone for a bit. You will see an option, Choose Your Path. It says $20, but for most of you all, if you have not selected a path yet, your very first path that you select in Pathways is completely free. You will see, you will first have to select your preferences, select your path language, English. How would you like to select your learning path? You can either view all of the path options. I can probably select that and click on continue, and this will give me all of the options, all the 11 paths that I can select for my new path. Right now, there is another option to take an online assessment. If you're not quite sure, if you've just seen all the 11 paths, if you feel a bit overwhelmed saying, I don't I don't know what part to select. The choices are huge. Toastmasters International does provide you with an online assessment where you can take that assessment and it will recommend paths to you that you can select. So, for instance, just refresh that for a bit. All right. So, for instance, if you say take an assessment, it will give you about 20 questions and you can answer them. Select three topics you're interested in learning about from the list below. You can select the options. You can answer all of those questions. I think there are about 20 questions that it asks you. And depending on your answers, the Toastmasters International website will recommend the most ideal paths. It will recommend what it thinks are the most ideal paths for you, and then you can select that. Now, obviously, going through the assessment is not really required as such. There are a few other resources as well that Toastmasters International, provides you with, and you can use those resources to know, what are the available path options. For example, I can show you a resource called the Toastmasters Navigator. For that, you simply just have to go to uh, view the navigator on the same page. I will just present that. Okay, so you will see, if you see on my screen, you will see the Toastmasters Navigator, view the navigator, and if you just click on that, you will see everything related to Toastmasters, all the information related to Toastmasters right from the beginning. Welcome to Toastmasters, your club, how do you give speeches and evaluations, pathways learning experience again, and everything like that. You will also find a nice PDF which you can just download and keep on your computer. This has everything that you need. Okay. This is everything that you need right from the beginning of your Toastmasters journey, exploring the basics, your roles, the committee of your club, etc., etc., and everything till achievements and becoming a mentor yourself when you accomplish a lot in Toastmasters. Right. So, was everyone able to view that PDF that I just shared? All right, give me a second. All right, so this is the PDF, right? And is everyone able to see this right now?
Yes.
All right, cool. So this has everything. You will see welcome to Toastmasters, the benefits. You'll see a guide on how to use the navigator. You have explore the basics and everything about pathways from selecting your first path, etc., etc. Now, I'm not going to go too much into this document because A, we've got a lot to cover, and B, I would like it if you guys had the opportunity to view this document all on your own, so that um, you can then view it on your own and then explore the website on your own, so that you're enabled to pick a path and take this knowledge to other clubs and to other members as well, right? So now, moving on from the navigator, I would like everyone to go to Basecamp right now. So, all right, so let's go to Basecamp right now. All right, is everyone able to see my screen? Maybe just a show of hands or a thumbs up would be enough at this point. All right, wonderful. So you'll see an option, paths and learning, educational transcript, and you can actually click on that, and it will take you straight to your learning transcript. This will have that everything that you have opened, from your path to other resources that you've opened, etc., etc. And you will find this small icon here, showing a pile of books. Next to that, you will see the name of the path that you have selected. um, the name of the path that I have selected right now is engaging humor. So all I need to do is just click on open curriculum, and you will actually go to something which gives you an entire list of projects that you have taken up. Right. So now you've got level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5. And before I go into all of these, each path has 5 levels. And as you can see here, you've got 5 levels up until path completion. There are projects in each of these levels that you must complete before you submit a level for completion, and before you can actually complete a level. Now, the first project you will obviously see is the icebreaker, where you will obviously deliver a speech introducing yourself. With a show of hands, how many of you all have delivered your icebreaker so far? Okay, I see a few hands going up. All right, so for those of you who haven't given, this is the very first project that you will be attempting, and you will attempt this project. There's a speech for 4 to 6 minutes, and you will attempt this. Now, when you want to actually go to this project, you will click on this launch button, and it will open your project. It will actually get you to this particular page. This is the first page that you will commonly see in every project, and you can actually click on begin. It will give you stuff about your project, learn about your project, how to navigate through your project, etc., etc., getting started. Right. This will give you an entire list of everything. This is like a table of contents page where you can view everything that is there in your project, introduction, your assignment, etc., etc. This page is where you will see what you need to accomplish to finish this project. So if you can see right here, the purpose of this project is to introduce yourself to the club and learn the basic structure for public speech. Simple. And it will give you a brief overview about your project. Write and deliver a speech about any topic and introduce yourself to the club. Okay. You can move on to others. And this is something that's rather important. You will see assess your skills before, where you can rate yourself. It will give you a few prompts, a few questions. I feel relaxed while when giving a speech, for example, and you can rate yourself from a scale of 1 to 5. 5 being the most comfortable, the most likely, 1 being the least likely. And you can rate yourself before, and you can do the same thing after giving your speech as well. So if I, let's say, 2, if I don't understand the structure of a basic speech, 1, if I easily identify my strengths, so on and so forth. You will answer all of these questions, and then you will move on with the project. Now, throughout this project, you will also see material on how to make your icebreaker better. This is essentially like a guide, and the icebreaker being a chapter. Think of pathways as being a textbook where each project is a chapter, and each chapter actually has material in order to make you better. For example, the icebreaker project, or the icebreaker chapter, as I would like to say it, actually has material on how to deliver your icebreaker, how to craft your speech, how to deliver your speech, etc., etc. And these are essentially the chapter contents. You will also see resources like that, like this, thrown in the middle. You can actually download this. If I actually just open, you will see something called an icebreaker worksheet. So you will see all these small resources that are thrown about, throughout the entire project. So let's move on to our tab back. So just to summarize, this project, just like any other project, a project has material on how to complete that project, and it will also have a few resources like worksheets, speech outlines, etc., etc. Now, the most important resources out of these, if I were to just go on till the end, um, yeah, so you'll see this page called your evaluation, and if you have delivered a speech, you will know that you have an individual evaluator of your own, right? And you will see a couple of resources here. You will see all of the resources throughout the project. You will see something called an evaluation resource. You can actually open this and you will see something called an evaluation form. This is a form which your evaluator basically uses to fill in the evaluation of your speech. So this is something that you're probably expected to give to your evaluator before you deliver the speech, so that they find it much easier to fill in these details, fill in the details of your evaluation, and then you can go on from there. So this is your evaluation form. If you are not very comfortable with second yeah, if you're not very comfortable with actually accessing these things on a regular basis, accessing Basecamp on a regular basis, maybe you think Basecamp is slow, you can actually download these things. You have this resource called Print My Project over here. If you all can see, Print My Project. If you just click on that, it will actually generate your project in a PDF format, and you can actually scroll down. This has everything that is there in the project on Basecamp as well, the exact same things. You can see everything from start to finish about your project. You can download this, keep it on your system. You can print this out if you all want, and you can keep this as a record. If you do not, if you find yourself a little uncomfortable about accessing Basecamp multiple times, this is something that you can store safely on your computer so that you can quickly refer to it in case you need some help on your project. But otherwise, this has everything. This also has resources towards the end. If I just scroll down um, to maybe page 16, you will see something called a project checklist, which you can go through on it on your own. Project checklist, which gives you the tasks, the action items that you need to do to finish this project successfully. And you also have the evaluation form attached here to this, and all the resources that you need, all the resources that are there on the project are all attached to this particular PDF. So if you print your project, you will get everything, all the project material and all the resources that are there with this particular project, right? So that's on project material. Now give me a second. Okay, before I move on with the rest of the presentation, do we have any questions? I think I'll pause there to take a few questions about everything that we've covered before. Anyone who has questions can probably unmute themselves and ask.
Hello. Hi, Akash. So I've
Yes,
actually, for the
Kaushik.
icebreaker speech, I've actually given the
Yes.
speech, but for me, I didn't launch it. So for me, it's not completed yet. So how do I, complete it?
All right. That is a pretty good question. So let me move on to my project right now. If you can see, this is the project that is there, your evaluation. Now remember, I told you something about assess your skills, and it said assess your skills hyphen before. This is where you rate your skills on a scale of 1 to 5, and that is before you attempt a project. You will also find a page called assess your skills after, and you will see the same questions. I've actually filled this in myself, so it's a little bit difficult to see, but you will see the exact same questions, and you basically rate yourself after giving the project. So you have to finish assess your skills before and after both. And once you do that, once you click on the submit button, it will basically just show you a summary of the ratings that you've given yourself, and you will also end your project, and you will also have successfully completed the project. and then you can go back to your curriculum and you will actually see this project marked as complete. So Kaushik, if you want to do that, you can actually do that. I think it would be a better idea if you probably shared your screen and done it so that everyone can see it in action, if you are okay with it.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I'll just do it.
All right, perfect. I'll stop presenting on my end then.
So can you see?
Yes, I can see your project. um okay, you'll have to probably just go next. Yeah, this is assess
Assess.
your skills after. Yeah, and you have to finish this completely. Think of the ratings that you are giving. Not that, actually you have to go back. You will see a next button below for the next questions and so on, and you have to actually finish all of those questions. So this will be there in every project. Assess your skills before, assess your skills after. It is pretty important to finish assess your skills after in order to mark your project as complete, because I have seen a lot of people whereby they have given this, but they weren't aware of this particular thing, and they have had no idea about how to mark their projects as complete. So they've given multiple speeches, but on the system it shows that they have not completed a single level. So I think it's important that we complete this bit, assess your skills after, and mark all of our projects as complete, so that we can go ahead and we can finish our levels and we can finish our paths. And the same, your educational achievements and your educational accomplishments can be recorded accordingly. So Kaushik has just finished assess your skills after. This is the summary that you can see. You can just click on next. Okay, now all of this is done. You can close this window.
Okay.
You can close this tab rather.
I'll
Okay,
refresh this.
and yeah, no, it's refreshing on its own, and you can see it will refresh on its own
Okay, yeah.
actually when you close the project, and you will see that the icebreaker speech has now been marked as complete. So
Super.
that's the
Well,
thing.
thank you.
Yep, no
Thanks a lot.
worries. So this has to be actually done. This has to actually be done for all projects. And let's take a scenario where you have actually finished all of the projects. You will see a page that looks like this a bit. You will see that everything has been completed, but you will also see something called a level 1 completion for engaging humor. Is there anyone who has actually finished all 4 projects so far, or um, not yet? Okay. Because I was kind of hoping for that, because then I can probably show that as an example. But all you have to do is open this project and it will show you the instructions on how to actually finish your project. If I just launch this, okay, this resource will essentially generate a PDF which where it will show you the instructions on how to mark your level complete. Whenever you complete a level, it will go to the vice president education and the president as a level completion request, and each level completion has to actually be approved by the vice president education. There is actually something called Basecamp manager, which the vice president education and the club president have access to, and they can do that to finish to approve your level completions. And once you actually mark this particular project as complete, you will see something called pending completion approval. Let me just zoom in on that. If you can see over here, you'll see that it's been circled over there, pending completion approval. And you will also find something called Basecamp Manager. This is just for presidents and vice president education. And they can go over there and they can then mark your project as complete. So once they do that, you will see that this has been complete, and you will see, and you can also view a certificate. The Basecamp will generate a certificate for you, which you can then again print it out and show it off wherever you can. put it on your resume wherever, stating that you have completed level 1 of, let's say, motivational strategies in this particular example. So this is how you can finish a level. You have to first deliver all the speeches in all your projects, finish all your projects, mark them as complete, doing using assess your skills after. And then once you have done that, you have to mark this particular project level 1 completion project as complete, so that it goes to your president and your VP for approval. Once they review that yes, you have finished all of your project requirements, you can then mark that project as complete and your level 1 will be complete. And this is how you navigate through all of pathways and throughout your entire path. You take level 1, you finish each of your projects one by one, mark them as complete, and then your VP then approves your level completion. You do this for all of the levels, level 1 to 5, and then you will be able to then finish your path. There is actually an interesting project over here. um, if you can go to path completion, you can actually access this. You'll see something called reflect on your path, and this is a rather fun project that you get access to once you have completed all of the required projects in all of the prior levels. You It is designed to basically give you an opportunity to share your experience, what and all you've learned throughout this path, and what and all you plan to learn in the future paths and in the future projects as well. So this is a rather interesting project that you will deliver at the very end. Right. So before I move on with the rest of the session, do we have any questions so far?
Yeah, Akash, I have one question. So
Yep.
actually, so when we are starting a particular project, we'll be, launching that particular project, and we'll be, like, I mean, we'll be answering for the before assess that questions, right? And
Yes.
we will be, after finishing the project, we will be going to the after, after completing the process, and we'll be giving the, we will finish off that complete thing. And sometimes there will be showing something called activate in that, that tab.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what does that actually mean, and when does it comes?
The activate button actually comes when you're accessing it for the very first time. Um, and that really doesn't mean anything as such. You can just click on that, it will reload and just show as launch next. So it actually really doesn't mean anything. I'm not entirely sure why it is there, but again, you just click on activate. The page will refresh on its own, it will then show launch, and then you can access your project. So yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool. Any other questions, or are we good to move on? All right, I think then we'll move on. What I've just covered is, I think, 70% of Basecamp, and how to navigate Basecamp. I think learning how to go to the projects, uh, reviewing the material, and marking all of those as complete forms about 70 to 80% of the entire thing. So I hope that everyone has understood and everyone is now comfortable with the entire layout of Basecamp, because this is going to be rather important. Every time you attempt a project, you will have to access your project, you will have to mark them as complete, and this is how you go throughout your levels and go throughout pathways as a whole. So I hope everyone is comfortable with this. If I can see a few thumbs ups here and there, if everyone is comfortable with this layout, then if everyone is comfortable with this particular system, then we can probably then move on to bigger and better things. A lot of interesting things we can actually do with pathways. Right, this is just one part of pathways. This is obviously most of pathways, accessing your projects, but a lot of what pathways can offer is to often unknown to a lot of members, right? So for example, let me go back to the pathways homepage. Remember I showed you paths and learning. This is the homepage. This is where the website takes you. This is where you're taken to once you click on go to Basecamp in toastmasters.org. You will see paths and learning. This is where you usually click, but you will also scroll down and see a lot more resources. For example, if you click on this button, speech evaluations, and I'll probably leave that to each and every one of you all, you can view the evaluation forms for literally any project. You won't have to go to each project and extract that. You can go to speech evaluations and actually view any project speech evaluation resource. So if there was that evaluation form for icebreaker which I just showed you, you can actually go over here and you can search for your icebreaker projects. I'm probably not going to click on that right now because I would probably leave you all to explore this and view all of the projects and view all of the speech evaluation resources. This is a good way to also know what other projects are out there in Pathways. Now you'll also see a tab called tutorials and resources. If you click on this, this will essentially show you a big repository of everything that you need. Uh, right now, you can see 360-degree evaluation resource, etc., etc. If you're not sure about, let's say you want to go to FAQs, and let's click on English. You'll see a lot of frequently asked questions, Basecamp verifications and approvals, meeting role requirements. You will see a lot of resources on these. You will also see something called tutorials, where you'll see videos on accessing certificates, accessing Pathways mentor program, accessing your path, which is probably more relevant for this presentation here. So you will see a lot of videos, you will see a lot of materials on the smaller details. Let's say, for example, you are a little unclear about how to access your path after this particular presentation. Let's say I've not done a very good job and you still have a few doubts on how to access your path. So you can actually go to tutorials and resources, and you will see a small video and you'll see small tutorials on accessing your path. So I would probably leave this also for each and every one of you all to explore, because there are a lot of tutorials and there are a lot of resources which will help you on the smaller points of Toastmasters and the smaller points with respect to navigations and with respect to your projects as such. And you will also see a lot of things. You'll see evaluation resources, obviously. You will also see project descriptions. If you want to learn about, let's say, active listening is actually one project. This will actually take you to the project page, and you can actually open this material, and you can access other projects as well. So I'll just quickly take 2 minutes to go through this. So this is just a description of whatever project you're attempting. You'll see the purpose and you'll see the overview. And if you're looking for a quick summary of the project that you'll be attempting, but you do not want to go through the trouble of opening your project and viewing everything else, then this is actually probably a shorter way to view the summary. You'll see the purpose and you will see the overview and what the objectives are and what you need to do to fulfill those objectives. So this is actually just a sample project that I have shared. I just go back to tutorials. Okay. So that was just a sample of what I'd shared. So in short, tutorials and resources, this particular tab, the third one that you see on your screen right now, it's a very good way to understand the finer points of Pathways, the finer points, the small things as to how to access this, how to access your path, how to access your levels, how to mark them as complete, etc., and so on and so forth. It will also give you resources on how to make your speeches better. All those things that you will probably find these in your projects, but you will also find condensed versions of stuff like that. So I would probably leave that to each and every one of y'all. One request from my side is go and explore Basecamp as much as possible, because there is a lot and there is a lot to access. So the three main things that I wanted to show all of you about Basecamp were paths and learning, which is basically 75 to 80% of Basecamp as a whole. Speech evaluations, where you can access any evaluation form for any project, and tutorials and resources, where you can view tutorials and how to guides on the smaller details, like all of the smaller points. Like, for example, if you have any doubt, one place that I would suggest you look is tutorials and resources. All right. Before I move on, do we have any other questions about all of the everything that we have covered so far? All right. I think this is all very clear. All right. Cool. All right. So just a quick run through. you'll see something called paths in learning, the top three that you have just attempted. This is just a shortcut. Your most recently opened learning transcripts that you have opened in Basecamp. For example, I recently opened engaging humor, and you'll see that it's showing up here. This is essentially a shorter way. You can just click on open curriculum and it will take you to all of your projects, right? There is something called pathways mentor program, which I don't want to cover in go into that much, but I think it will be helpful for you all to just know that once you finish level 2, you will get access to something called pathways mentor program, and this will be activated on your Basecamp. This is a series of projects which are designed to make you better mentors. Now, most of you all are new members. Most of you all have joined within the last 6 months or so. So I don't want to go into details with respect to this particular project, but you will see projects. It is essentially a similar framework. You will open a project, you will see all the material inside it on how to finish that particular project, and then you can actually be certified as a pathways mentor if you finish all of the requirements, and if you if your VP approves the completion of this particular program. I think it's just important for you all to know that such a program exists, so that once each and every one of you all deliver a number of projects and become experienced Toastmasters and better speakers yourself, this is something you can look into, so that you all can take this knowledge, take all of the knowledge that you've gained so far, and mentor other new members that come in after you all. So just a quick primer on what Pathways Mentor Program is. Uh, but yes, all right, let's move on. Any doubts with respect to that or anything that I've just mentioned? All right, cool. All right, now let us move on to another quick section. I'll just go back to my presentation right now. All right, now, as I mentioned, the curriculum that you saw for each and every one of your one of your parts, that forms 75 to 80% of everything that everyone knows about Basecamp. But there are a few finer points about Basecamp, and typically I've named this slide the potential of Basecamp, because there is a lot more to Basecamp. I just showed you speech evaluations, I just showed you tutorials and resources, where there are resources on almost anything that you need. But there is a lot more to Basecamp than just all of these resources, right? There are three main things that I want to cover over here. There is something on feedback that is there on Basecamp, and it's not just your speech evaluation forms that you have. There is actually a way to ask for and receive feedback on Basecamp as well, and we will do a small activity on feedback just in a bit. But there is a little bit on feedback on Basecamp itself. There is something on documents. There is a place where you can store your scripts, you can store your evaluation forms. uh, the Basecamp has actually given you a platform, just like probably how Google Drive would do, where you can actually organize your speech evaluation forms, keep them safe on the online platform. And the last thing is obviously enabling members, which I will get to towards the end. But this is a bit on what I want to cover. Most of what I wanted to cover is this bit actually, because these are some of the finer points about Basecamp that aren't used as much, right? So I will actually share this tab now. Now, if you move on to Basecamp, you will see something called My Feedback over here. And if you are on the Basecamp website right now, you can click on My Feedback. Now, let us do a small activity over here, right? You will see something called feedback request, and on my screen you will see an example of feedback that you can actually see. For example, I received a feedback way back in 2020 when I finished my path, and you can see that a fellow member of mine had actually congratulated me, congratulations on completing your path within a short time, etc., etc. Now let's do a quick activity, and I would actually stop sharing my screen. Okay. All right, let's do a small activity between ourselves where we go to this particular page. How many of y'all have actually gone to this particular page right now, so that I know how many of y'all are in position to actually do this activity? Mm. All right. How many of you all are currently on the Basecamp website? With a show of hands, you can probably just raise your hands and let me know how many of you all are actually on the Basecamp website so that we can actually do this activity quickly. Okay, I see Bharat is on the Basecamp website. Kaushik, I think you were on the Basecamp website a little while back, right? Yes. So one small request, both of you, and if anyone else is on the Basecamp website, you can go to the My Feedback section that I just showed you about, that I just showed you on the website. Okay. Let us go to this particular website and let us do one thing. If you have delivered a speech in the last, let's say, 6 months or any time, between the last 6 months or so, maybe even in the last month or so, right? If you see this page, one request is click on the feedback request button and request feedback from all of your members. Okay, so let's do one thing. I think Bharat is there on the website. I think Kaushik is there on the website. So I'll probably take the example of the two of you. Uh, Kaushik, you have given your speech recently. So Kaushik, I want you to go to feedback request, and I think
Okay.
it'll be better if you share your screen. I think
Okay.
it'll probably make it better.
Okay.
Okay, so who would you like to see the request responses? That will be everyone. Okay, on feedback request, you can actually type a question. Can you give me feedback on my icebreaker? Maybe a sample question or whatever.
Okay.
Okay, and you can actually search for users over there. If you can just search for
This one.
Bharat. Yes. Okay, you will see Bharat Nandagopal, his name, and you can click on the post button on the bottom right side, and you can click on post. All right. Now Bharat will actually be able to see this on his Basecamp. And Bharat, I'm not sure if you can share your screen. I'm not sure if you're on a laptop currently, but if you can just give a quick, maybe one or two words of feedback for him, so that we know in real time that this is working, and we know in real time how this can be put to use.
Yes,
I'm going to
sure, I'll
stop
do that.
sharing, sir. Okay.
Yeah, that should be all right. But I'm probably going to ask you to share it again so that we can see the
Okay.
response come live.
So yeah. So where I have to exactly, I mean, where I can find the request for the feedback.
All right, so you'll have to go to my feedback again, and
Okay.
I think you should find. I think you should find it there on the same page. Kaushik Sridhar has requested feedback from you.
I think I can show.
Just a minute.
It's here, Bharat.
Yes. So where is it, Kaushik?
Go home.
So it will, okay.
Say this is your base camp, and then you'll see a button here called My Feedback.
Okay. Just a minute.
Here.
Yes, actually, I'm in that particular tab only, but it's showing only, I can ask for feedback request. So that is
Okay,
only
give me a
I'm
minute.
reading.
Okay, I think you can request from me.
Okay, just a minute.
Okay, Bharat, if you go to view all feedback requests, you will see all the feedback requests that have actually gone to you. So this is a page.
Feedback responses, right? Just a minute.
Not quite. All right, Bharat, is it possible to actually share your screen once? Maybe point your phone
Yeah,
at the screen
sure,
so that we
sure,
can
sure.
walk through it. All right, so on the bottom right corner, you will see three dots over there. Um,
Yes,
Under feedback, view all
okay.
feedback requests, and if you can just click on that, and if you zoom in right over there, you will see actually phones aren't the best way to view uh, Basecamp, but you will see that Kaushik Sridhar has actually requested for feedback. Can you let me know how your
Yes,
speech was? And you can actually go on this particular.
okay.
Hang on. You can actually click on that particular question. He has requested feedback, and you can just share. Okay, so this is just an example. Um, Now Bharat has shared this and he has clicked on post. Bharat, if you can just zoom in once again, you will see that this has been posted and this has been shared. Now, Kaushik, we will move on to you once again. If you can share your screen again so that we can see the live response that has just come up on your screen.
Okay.
All right, so now you can see in place of absolutely nothing, there is the feedback that Bharat has given. The speech was great. You can fill in a much longer thing. This is just an example, but in case you want to provide maybe informal feedback to anyone, and if someone wants to ask feedback from a particular person or to everyone rather, this is the platform on which you can actually ask and receive feedback, and you can do it seamlessly. You can probably do it on Basecamp itself. This is an easy way to share feedback while your projects are also there on Basecamp as well. So Basecamp actually gives you the opportunity to ask and receive feedback from as many people as possible, from all of the members of your club. So is everyone clear and is everyone comfortable with this particular platform right now? Because this is one this platform and this thing is what I believe the club can actually use more effectively, and a lot of people aren't aware of this particular thing, but it's actually a very effective way to ask and receive feedback from as many people as possible. So the reason why I went into this into a lot of detail was this is one way where pathways can be fully digitized, and your entire meetings from speeches to feedbacks can be fully digitized by asking for and receiving feedback from anyone in the club at any point in time, and anyone giving feedback to you at any point. I think this is a very effective way that you all can do this, which is why I wanted to cover a lot of time on this, and I would want to take a lot of time to show you how this exactly works. Right. So this was a bit on feedback. Kaushik, if I'll just share my screen for now. Now there is another extremely interesting thing on the homepage, right under feedback. I think two buttons below feedback, you'll see my badges. I won't be covering much into that, but you'll see something called my documents. And if you click on that, now if you remember, I showed you, I mentioned something about, this thing being just like Google Drive. You will see that you'll see 6 folders over here, all organized as per level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You'll also see a general my documents folder over there, but Basecamp has actually organized all of these into different folders, and you have the option to store whatever you want on Basecamp itself. So for example, if you have a speech evaluation form filled in by your evaluator, and if your evaluator sends it to you, you can actually upload it over here on Basecamp. So I have a PDF file uploaded over here. um, Icebreaker feedback, I can actually go over here and I can actually open this. So this was basically an evaluation form that I received way back in 2019. And this essentially shows, I mean, it's not the best handwriting, but this shows my evaluation from Basecamp, of my icebreaker evaluation way back when I had given it in 2019. So this, I had actually scanned this and kept this on Basecamp. I haven't been using this as much myself, I have to confess, but this is something that I feel we all can use, something to organize our evaluation forms on, so that Basecamp then becomes a one-stop shop for everything. Your evaluation forms, your scripts, if you are typing your scripts out on Microsoft Word, etc., you can store, you can save those, and you can store these on Basecamp itself. If you have any videos which are less than 20 MB, you can store those as well. For example, and I think in my introduction, Bharat had mentioned something about me having a podcast series of my own. You can I actually went to my documents. If I go to level 4, actually, I'd used this folder. I had actually uploaded an MP3 version of my very first episode. And this is all to show you that it's not just documents, but you can actually store MP3 files, MP4 files, videos, etc. The file size is obviously 20 megabytes. Anything more than that, and this will straight up reject that. So keep that in mind. But any videos that you have which are less than 20 MB, like your speech delivery videos, your audio files, etc., can be stored over here. So this then becomes a safe space. This becomes a safe place for you to store everything, your documents, your scripts, etc. So think of it as a Google Drive which Basecamp has actually given you exclusively for your speeches, and this gives you a chance to be organized much better. So this is a bit on documents. It is a very effective way to store everything about your speeches and everything. Any questions so far with respect to feedback, with respect to documents? All right, I don't see any questions as such. All right, so I think I'll probably assume everyone is comfortable with this particular system. All right, perfect. Perfect. All right, so this is a bit on the other resources. So if I were to just summarize what we've covered so far, right? And I know we have to still get to enabling members. What we've covered so far is we've covered how to access a project, how to mark a project as complete, and how to complete your levels. Essentially, we've covered that, which is most of what Basecamp is all about. Then we have covered stuff on how to access whatever tutorials you want, whatever resources you can access, and if you need guidance on anything, you have that particular tab and you can access everything on Basecamp itself. Any guides that you need, for example, how to access, how to find a particular document, how to deliver a particular speech, etc., everything is there on Basecamp under the tab tutorials and resources. Then you also have the option to ask and receive for feedback on Basecamp itself, right? And this is something that you can do, and this is a system that you all can use effectively, so that everything is there on Basecamp. Everything is there. Basecamp then becomes a one-stop shop for you all to ask and receive feedback, so that when someone asks for feedback, there is someone there to give that feedback effectively. And you may not even need evaluation forms. You may not even need to go through the trouble of extracting evaluation forms. You can just use the feedback mechanism to ask and receive feedback whenever you want. You also have a small Google Drive like thing called My Documents, where you can store your evaluation forms, you can store your scripts, speech scripts, you can store videos which are not more than 20 megabytes, small sized videos, audios, etc. Or maybe just about any resource that you find, that you just pick off from YouTube, you convert it to MP3, let's say, and if it can be stored on My Documents, you can actually store it and go back to it whenever you want. Right. Now, the last point that I wanted to cover is also pretty important. It is something on enabling members, right? I had a quick question. How many meetings has Velour Toastmasters Club had so far?
It's 134.
Okay, 134. All right, cool. So throughout these 134 meetings, you would have had a lot of guests coming in, a lot of new members joining in, and specifically a lot of new members who aren't really aware of what Pathways is about, what Basecamp is about, and the entire layout of Basecamp can be a little overwhelming because there's just too many things that are put together and not too many guides that are easily available. But one request of mine that I have is, take whatever that you have learned from this particular session, take it back with you, and whenever there are there are any newer members, share whatever information that I've given to you to them, right? And my job so far is to is not just to show you how to navigate Basecamp, but also to enable each and every one of you all so that you all can take sessions on your own. You all can take such sessions on your own so that you can educate members on what Basecamp is about and how to make the fullest use of what Basecamp has to offer. Because let's face it, there are a lot of things on Basecamp, but they are all completely scattered. But you will also find resources on Basecamp as well, and you will also find other sessions. One request that I have on my end is, if you can take whatever that I've given in this particular session and take it back and share it with any new members that may come, that may join, because newer and newer members are going to join. They're going to want to know what Basecamp is about. They're going to know what Pathways is all about, and they're going to need guidance. So rather than having an educational session, how about you all, as Toastmasters and as experienced Toastmasters in the future, enable yourselves and enable other members? And this is how, through the process of enabling others, through the process of leadership, mentoring other members, etc., this is how you all can actually make full use of your entire Toastmasters journey, and then become better speakers. And this is how the journey progresses and becomes much, much, much better, not just by listening to educational sessions like this one right now, but taking whatever you understand in educational sessions and delivering sessions all on your own. This is the journey that I personally faced, and right now, earlier I was just a very inexperienced speaker like you all, but right now I'm giving sessions right now. It is my hope and my gentle request that each and every one of you all take whatever I'm giving you all, and then maybe in the future take sessions on your own, be in leadership positions, be in committee roles, etc., and then take sessions on your own, so that just not just as speakers, you all become mentors to other newer Toastmasters and other newer speakers who are just starting out on their journey. With that, I covered everything that I had to cover when it comes to Basecamp. I will just quickly stop presenting. I'll pause there for any questions, because I'm just at the end of my session right now. I see the yellow card, but do we have any questions about anything about Pathways or anything about Toastmasters in general? Not just about anything that we've covered, but anything about Toastmasters in general. Cool. I think everyone is then comfortable with moving forward with your journeys. Now, before I conclude the session, I would just take a couple of more minutes. I will just show you a few resources, and I will obviously send the links to Bharat for those resources. I'll just open this up. Okay. Okay, it doesn't look like it's giving me the option. All right, so a few resources that I had personally to share. Number one is the Toastmasters Navigator that you have just seen. You will see that it covers everything right from the ground up, from beginning your Toastmasters journey all the way to being mentors yourself. And especially this point, being mentors yourself, this is a point that I keep alluding to, because as newer Toastmasters right now, you all can hone your skills, become mentors yourself to other newer members, and this is how the learning keeps progressing. Newer members learn from older members, and I think as the club progresses, this is a rather important point that I also wanted to cover: enabling members through Pathways, through Basecamp, and through the mentoring skills that you will develop over the next few months, over the next few years, and however that may be. Right. My next resource, and I'll just share my screen once again. Okay. You'll also find on the Toastmasters.org website, you will actually see this big tab called resources, and my screen is just coming up right now. You'll see this big tab called resources over here, and if you click on this, it will take you to this particular website. You can actually go to the resource library. You'll find videos, you'll find other podcasts on Toastmasters, and other things like that. But you'll also find a big resource library on this. You can actually click on English to filter it by language. And then if you want to learn about anything, you can search for whatever resources you want. This is a big repository on the resources that you have. And if you want to learn more about pathways, you can actually type in pathways. And one second. Yeah, you can type in pathways, and there is actually a resource over here, pathways and core competencies, and it will show you what core competencies you will be developing from each path rather. So these are all the 11 paths. It's a 12-page document, and for example, you've got dynamic leadership. It will show you a brief synopsis of the path, and it will show you each project that's there in each path. So this is actually a brief summary of what you can view in pathways. And this is a document that basically combines all of the projects that are there, so that this becomes a ready document for you so that you can just refer to it. There is another very interesting document called Project Competencies Path. Okay, and I have just opened it from the same site. Pathways Competencies by Path. It's a pretty comprehensive 36-page document. You can scroll down, and this goes into a lot more detail about each project that you have. So let's start off with level one. Let's say your path is dynamic leadership. Recognize the elements of basic speech structure, balanced preparation, and spontaneity, and all of the competencies that you have per project. So Bharat, I'll share the links of or I'll rather share the PDFs of these particular resources, but you can actually go to the resources tab yourself and actually search for these particular resources. And this is actually a very comprehensive document about each project. And this document will actually come in handy when you're selecting a new path right at the beginning. So with that, I think I've covered everything that I need to do. One request is use Basecamp. Don't see Basecamp just as a very complicated system, but see how much you can use Basecamp and see how far you can use Basecamp to its fullest potential. With that, I would like to thank you all for being such patient listeners for the duration of an entire hour. I think this has been a big session, but I will be sharing a small feedback form because between you and me, this is actually the very first time I've delivered an hour-long session. So I will share a small feedback form so that I know where I can improve in my sessions. But otherwise, it's great to see you all, and it's great to deliver a session in front of you all, you patient listeners. So thank you all so much, and I would like to hand it back to Toastmaster Bharat.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Akash, for so delivering your educational session with such details, and we really learned a lot from the session. Even as some of us are experienced, we really learned a lot of things that we didn't know, and this was really helpful. And I hope that everyone felt the same. And yeah, we will definitely give you in the feedback as well. Thank you so much for coming up, and special thank you for when I just messaged you, you just said it yes, and right away you just helped us. Thank you for that. Right. So yes. So now let's quickly, so we have finished the session a little early without, as we put to move without questions. So we can just right away start with our next session. That is a fun table topic segment. Well, so I found that there is yeah, one more guest has joined our meeting. Well, hi, Dr. Saravana Prashant.
Hi, Bharat. Hi, Toastmaster Kaushik. Thanks for giving me this opportunity. I would like to apologize rather because I missed few of your sessions lately, and few of your topics like Hodophile. I've been a Hodophile. I've been a solo traveler, and I felt bad for missing those sessions. Like I have a clinic to run in the morning every Sunday, so that's the issue why
Yeah,
I came late. I used to come late, so. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you so much, Bharat and Kaushik, and
yeah,
all other Toastmasters. Thank you so much.
yeah. Thank you, Saravana Prashant. Yeah.
Bye.
So hope so maybe you can you can attend the rest of the meetings in our club, and yeah, rest of the session in this particular meeting as well. Great. So
Right.
thank you for coming.
Thank you so
Well,
much.
yeah.
And should I talk like the topic? Should I present the topic about nostalgia or?
No, no, no. So we will be entering into a table topic session, and we will be moving on to that. Yes.
Oh, okay, fine.
You're on mute. Bharat, you're on mute.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So this, we are going to move on to a fun table topic session. Well, as we all know that table topic helps us improve our impromptu speaking skills, and it helps us in many places in our life. And yeah, so this table topic session is the particular theme that is called walking dictionary. So how many of you hear this already? Walking dictionary. Can you just raise your hands? Well, right then, I think it's pretty clear that I can set up the stage here.
You're on mute again.
Sorry, sorry. So walking dictionary is nothing like So I'll be just giving you a word. So the word might be pretty strange to you. You might not know its meaning. So the word will be something different from in our conventional ways. Right? So what you have to do. So even though you don't know the meaning, you have to assume yourself a particular meaning for that word, and you have to deliver your speech for 1 to 2 minutes using that particular word. Okay, is that clear? So you have to use that word in your table topic speech, and even though you don't know the meaning of the word, you have to assume a particular meaning, one particular meaning, and you have to go with your table topic speech. And by the end of your speech, I'll be telling you what is the meaning of that particular word. And this way, it will be funny and interesting, right? So yeah. So I hope this is clear. Are there any questions? All you got it? You're clear, right? Yes.
So, Bharat, just a minute. So you'll give a word, verb, and we're supposed to speak anything on any topic, but we also have to use the verb. Right?
Yeah, correct. So it will be a word, and yeah, so you don't know, you might know or you might not know the meaning of the word. So you'll be just using the word with assuming some meaning for that particular word, and you'll be using that word in your table topic speech. And finally, at the end of your speech, I'll be telling its meaning. Okay. Yeah. So firstly, I'm not going to pick anyone. So do I have any volunteers for this? Don't worry, it will be, by the way, it will be make us have a funny, and yeah, let's give it a try. So yeah, then I have to pick people. Yeah, then I'll just go with Kaushik first.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, so my word for you is just a minute. Yes. So Kaushik, the word for you is bumfuzzled. 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 So yeah, this is your word, and you can start.
I was in Bangalore in 2018 or 19, I believe, and me and a bunch of friends. I think we were about 10 or 12 people, boys and girls. We were in an Innova and one other scooter. So it was about 12 o'clock in the night, 12 or 1 o'clock in the night, one Innova and one scooter. And everything is all jam packed. The Innova is full. The scooter has three people on the scooter. We're all heading to Nandi Hills. So you can all imagine what would happen. We were all, say, not in our senses. You could say that. I personally had downed about a tower of beer, and we were all heading out to Nandi Hills. So that happened. We were all chilling at Nandi Hills, and then about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, we are coming back inside Bangalore. I think when we are coming back inside Bangalore, and one of the cops stopped us. I wasn't sure about what happened because I was out of my mind at the time. I wasn't driving the car, so I wasn't doing anything illegal. So I was just having fun. And after that stage, I do not remember anything. The next thing I remember is I wake up at about 11 o'clock in the morning, and I'm in my room, and the only thing I'm wearing is an underwear, and I was bumfuzzled right there because I did not know anything that happened. I had to get back to Vellore at that time. So I ran to Silk Board. I wore some clothes, hungover. I ran to Silk Board. I was waiting for my bus to come back here to Vellore. Then I get a call from my friend called Akash. He calls me, "Hey, Kaushik, hey, bro, you idiot." I was like, "What happened?" And then he's a Kannadiga. He tells me, "Bro, you apparently hit the cop or something." Again, I was bumfuzzled. Then I cut the call because I was getting an unknown call 2 or 3 times. It was a call repeated. So I pick up the call, and it's from the police station, Kamnahalli police station. And they asked me, "Is this Kaushik?" I was like, "Yes, this is Kaushik." They said, "You have to come to the station because you apparently slanged a cop or hit a cop." I didn't know what happened. I was bumfuzzled again. So I cut the call. I called my friend Akash. I told I'm leaving to Vellore, and I left to Vellore and came. And I left him bumfuzzled. He handled the situation for me. There's a whole nother story to it, but that's what it is. So thank you for this opportunity, and over to the Table Topics Master, Toastmaster Bharat.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kaushik, for sharing us a funny incident. And you are really close to that particular word's exact meaning. So can you just tell me what did you assume for that particular
I
word?
assumed that I was shocked, extremely shocked.
Okay. So you assumed it as shocked, but the actual meaning for that word is confused. But the interesting thing is that that particular word is exactly it matched with your story also.
Story.
Yes, great,
Thank
great,
God.
great attempt to Toastmaster. Great. So we can give a very big applause for Toastmaster Kaushik. Right. So now, so now I would like to call Toastmaster Carolyn to give it a try. Carolyn, are you ready? I think she's not there. Okay.
Yeah.
Then yeah. Okay. Then. So do I have any other people who are volunteer for this? Yes, Dr. Sharon Prashant. Great. Thank you for volunteering.
Yeah.
So the word for you is bibliokept. 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 So this is the word for you. So you can assume if you know the meaning, you can use the word easily. And if you don't know it, you can assume some meaning and you can just go ahead with your table topic speech. Bibliokept.
No idea actually. It's not ringing any bells. So okay.
Yeah, you don't need to worry about, you don't need to exactly know the meaning. You can just go with any meaning that you know, and you can just, use that word. And finally, I'll be just telling that.
No, sir. Is there any other words? Like I
Okay,
cannot figure.
okay, don't worry. Yeah. So your next word is fuddy duddy.
What?
Fuddy duddy. Fuddy. Fuddy duddy.
30, 30.
See, the thing is, even
Yeah.
you don't need to know the meaning of the word. So that's how it sounds funny. You know, you should
Okay.
not even think of how what is the meaning. You can just assume some meaning and you can just deliver your speech, and that is how it will go.
Uh,
Yeah.
like
Or else I'll do
yeah.
one thing for you. Yeah. So maybe I'll just tell
Okay.
you the meaning of the word for you for the word fuddy duddy, and you can just use that particular word and you can form a speech. Is that fine?
Yeah, yeah, fine.
Yeah. So fuddy duddy is a person who is super old fashioned and doesn't want anything to do with modern trends. In the language of Instagram, we can say it boomer. We know boomer uncles, right?
Okay.
Right. So
I
so fuddy duddy
recently
is
yeah,
yeah. Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
boomer. So, okay, I recently went with my friends. Like they used to chant about something that's like uh, what to say. Uh, some yeah, maybe I'm not quite good at this. I guess so. Maybe next time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah,
That's
sorry,
okay.
sorry, sorry.
Completely fine. Yeah, that don't need to worry. So I hope you're giving your first table topic, and first of all,
Yeah,
kudos to you for just volunteering yourself and taking
thank
a
you, thank
bold
you.
attempt. Yeah. So yeah, I hope you will give a better table topic in the next time. Thank you. Great. So we can
Thank
give
you.
a applause for him.
Thank you so much. Sorry.
Yeah, that's good. And yeah, so now I would like to call Chandrish for giving a table topic.
Yes.
All right. So Chandrish, the word for you is foppish. F O
Sorry.
P P F O P P I
Office.
S H foppish. Foppish. Foppish.
Okay. All right. So I'm studying. So I have no direct sibling, but I have some cousins. We used to meet during the festivals and sometimes in so anytime. Like if someone is coming home, since I am living in my village right now, and most of us, some people, some cousins are living in other cities. Some are studying and some are working. So we get to meet only during the vacations or festivals, or sometimes if someone has come to home, they come to visit our village and we meet. At that time we make a lot of fun to each other, like you did this during the time you have we used to live in village, you have done this kind of thing, your teacher used to scold you with this name, but see you are doing good this time. So we just make fun of each other. We used to go to play, and also at that time also we make to use fun of each other, like, hey, what are you doing, like this kind of things. Currently you are doing good, do good in these things also. So that kind of things we do. So yes, we make fun of each other. That is how I want to use this fofis word. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chandrish. But actually, the thing is, you have to use that particular word
Oh,
in your
okay.
story. Yeah. Okay, no problem, no issues. So you did a very big try. Thank you. So now I'd like to call Shravani for giving us the topic.
Hello.
Toastmaster Shravani.
Yeah.
What does that mean, fofis?
Yeah, sorry. I forgot. So
I
foppish
assumed it
means
as
yeah,
fun.
fun. Okay. So actually, the word meaning of the word foppish is when someone over concerned with their outfit look.
Okay.
So yeah, for example, we can say like this person is always being foppish, which means they are over concerned about their outfit look. So this is how it goes, right? So yeah, Shravani, are you good to go?
Yeah, Bharat.
Okay, great. So the word for you is bumper shoot. BUMBER bumper shoot.
Okay. Like this is very difficult, like without knowing the meaning using the word. Okay. Mm, okay, let me start. At present, I feel like you have bumbershoot me with some random word, which I'm not able to like know the meaning and how to focus on the word. I have faced this kind of situations where I got bumbershoot. Like when I get unknown works and unknown, like mainly when I receive any call from unknown number, I will get bumbershoot. Um, I think we need to learn how to handle these situations when we get bumbershoot. One of the reason is that handling them with um, calmness, and like first we need to think who is calling us. Like instead of worrying why I'm getting an unknown call. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shravani, for giving
Now
a very
I'm
good try.
curious to know the meaning of the word
Yeah. So the meaning of the word bumper shoot is umbrella.
Um,
umbrella.
Yeah, right. So I think you assume the meaning is as threatened or
Some
confused. Is
shop.
it something
Yeah,
like that?
written. Yeah.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Shravani. Well, so I would like to have the final person. That's going to be Toastmaster Kirandi.
yes, yes, Bharat.
Yeah. So Toastmaster Kirandeep. So the word for you is conjubilant. Conjubilant. Conjubilant.
Okay.
Yeah.
So on one fine day, I went to my school and I sat in the last bench. And there was so much of classes going on by the teacher teaching so many mathematics formula. And I was just having a nap in the back bench without knowing by to the teacher. And suddenly my teacher called to the stage and said to do this mathematics formula and to solve the problem. And at that time I conjugate myself and see like how to do these steps. And suddenly my friend in the back bench showing a book like this is the formula, this is the thing step by step, but it is not visible to me to the side. And I conjugate again and I said to my teacher I need some time. And and went back again and I checked some formulas and come to the stage. And I again conjugate saying this is very confusing to me. And that's how I finally said I was not aware to the teachings in the class and went back again. That's all, guys. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Kirandeep, for giving a very good story. Yes. So can you tell me what meaning that you have assumed for this?
Surprise, confused, astonished.
Surprised or confused?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a little closer. So I'll just tell you the exact meaning. So conjubilant is the word used to describe when a group is shouting in joy together. So when you're shouting in joy, when you're shouting in happiness, so people were so conjubilant in that particular program or festival. So like that we can use it. So when people are shouting in joy, so we use this word conjubilant, right?
Yes.
Yes. And here we come to the end of the fun table topic session. And thank you everyone for volunteering and making it really beautiful. So yeah, thank you. Yes. So I would like to thank each and every one of you for attending this session, and I especially like to thank Toastmaster Akash for taking us through a very good educational session and gave us a really good clarity on pathways and base camp. And so as most of us have joined new, so you can just go and explore first and what are the things that he covered on this particular education session. And you, as we have this session as recorded, you can even just, if you have some doubts on where to click or something like that, so you can just, have a look at the recording and you can just explore those things and try to use, as I told that, try to use the base camp and pathways as much as possible that, as much as we can utilize it, we can do it, right? And if you still have some doubts, we can contact Akash, or we can also contact some other people, right? So I hope you find the session interesting and helpful. And yeah, Akash will share his feedback form, and I will share it to you also. And you can all give feedback about the session. Yes. So thank you everyone, and you can all enjoy your rest of your Sunday. Bye bye everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you all. Thank you, Akash. Thank you, Akash, for the session. See you all. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Yep.
Yes.
Good show, everyone. Good show, everyone. Bye bye. Great to be a part of this meeting. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Akash.
Thank you. Thank you, Akash. Bye bye.